Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Alhamdulillah, we're back again. Insha'Allah, today my brother Adil is here to talk about another amazing story of an Abyssinian king. Let's get started.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Let's learn about the amazing story of Nejashi, a ruler who was different from the rest. When early Muslims needed a safe place to go, he welcomed them and even became a Muslim himself. Discover how he made a huge impact and why people still talk about him today. Nejashi, also known as Ahlam ibn Abjar, was a ruler in the region of Abyssinia, which is modern-day Ethiopia, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He lived in the 6th century and was known for his kindness, fairness, and justice. Nejashi is remembered in Islamic history for his friendliness toward the early Muslims who looked for shelter in his kingdom. In the early days of Islam, the Muslims in Mecca were facing severe persecution from the leaders of their city. The early Muslims were not allowed to practice Islam freely and were often beaten and mistreated. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had instructed the Muslims to migrate to Abyssinia to escape the persecution, and many Muslims took his advice and sought refuge in the kingdom. When the Muslims arrived in Abyssinia, they were welcomed by Nejashi, who listened to their story and offered them protection. He was very kind and welcoming to the Muslims and allowed them to live in peace in his kingdom. The Muslims were very grateful to Nejashi, and they lived in Abyssinia for several years, practicing their religion and spreading the message of Islam to the people there. The Muslims in Abyssinia not only found safety and security, but also the freedom to practice their religion and spread the message of Islam to others. They were able to openly worship Allah and share the message of Islam with the people of Abyssinia. They even built a mosque where they could gather for prayer and worship. As the Muslims in Abyssinia continued to live among the people of the kingdom, they formed close relationships with them and taught them about Islam. Many of the people of Abyssinia were drawn to the message of Islam, and they started to convert to the faith. Nejashi was one of those people. Nejashi was very interested in the religion of the Muslims, and he asked them to tell him more about it. He was impressed by what he heard and decided to embrace Islam himself. He became one of the first converts to Islam outside of Saudi Arabia, and his story serves as an inspiration to Muslims everywhere. As more and more people in Abyssinia converted to Islam, the religion continued to spread throughout the kingdom. Nejashi became a strong supporter of Islam and even sent a letter to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to tell him about the growing community of Muslims in his kingdom. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was very pleased to hear about the growing community of Muslims in Abyssinia and sent a letter back to Nejashi, thanking him for his hospitality and kindness towards the Muslims. This letter is still preserved today and is considered an important part of Islamic history. It serves as a testament to the close relationship between the early Muslims and the people of Abyssinia, and to the hospitality and kindness shown to the Muslims by Nejashi. Nejashi's legacy lives on in the history of Islam, and he is remembered as one of the earliest and most prominent supporters of the religion outside of Saudi Arabia. He set an example of hospitality, kindness, and fairness, and his story continues to inspire Muslims around the world. By the way, did you know that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't offer the funeral prayer, Salatul Janazah, for every Muslim who died far away, but he made an exception for An-Najashi because he always treated Muslims with kindness. I hope you learned something new, or we reminded you about the great Abyssinian man, Nejashi. If you want to learn about another amazing Abyssinian man, click the video on the left. See you in the next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.